Friends, in this video for iThought Advisor, I am going to talk to you on the topic understanding ETFs. ETFs are exchange traded funds, a product created based on an index or a sector or a theme. It could be any of these things. An ETF invests in a product which is based on an index. That index could be a overall index like the Nifty or the Sensex, or it could be a sectoral index, or it could be an index based on themes. You could have an infra index, you could have an FMCG index, you could have a tech index, you could have a healthcare index, you could have a semiconductor index, you could have FANGs index, you could have it on so many themes. You could also have it based on the risk appetite of investors. You could have a dividend index in ETF, you could have a low volatility index, you could have a high volatility index, you could have a momentum index, you could have a high growth index. So, the options to create such products is enormous. It is so enormous that making a choice is often quite complex. You have too much to select from. So, we look like children in candy shops when you look at the entire gamut of ETFs that are available. In India, ETFs is still in an early growth stage. So, when you compare with America and the number of ETF options you have, India is still exploratory. We are still just testing the waters in ETF. Who is an ETF meant for? I told you that the opportunity, the options are enormous. When you have such a vast gamut of products, it is quite obvious that each product can serve a different customer. So, an ETF which is based just on the Nifty or the Sensex could serve an early stage investor, maybe a beginner, but a sophisticated index could serve investors with higher risk appetite. In fact, you even have a lot of ETFs which serve very high risk appetite of investors or investors who want or need such a high risk product. So, if you take the risk spectrum, ETF starts right at the bottom and goes right to the top of the risk spectrum. So, you have products all the way from low risk to super high risk. So, ETFs cannot be simplified as low risk products, which is what most people think it is. It's a product which could give you a solution according to your need. It's not necessarily just low risk. So, that is something everybody needs to get straight here. In the West, we get so much of choice because there are a lot of manufacturers of indices. In India, indices is still the domain of a few players. You still need more players to create indices, which means those who curate should have the capacity to curate novel indices. That is still at an early stage, though the NSE is at a slightly advanced stage and the others are also coming quickly to catch up. I believe that the curation of indices has a long way to go in India, and we will have numerous options with us with every passing year. So, in ETFs, the problem is one of plenty. The problem is that we would be spoiled for choice, and the problem is that we should know how to choose. So, saying that ETFs are low risk product, anybody can buy them, is kind of oversimplifying what they are. From our point of view, iThought looks at ETFs as the future in advisory. We believe that using ETFs, we would be able to give a much more cost effective solution to our investors. We would also be able to bring in much needed variety in their investment portfolios. Most importantly, we would be able to normalize risk. Let us say I want to buy one sector and I buy stocks, then I am forced to buy just one or two stocks in that sector. Now, if that stock selection doesn't work out, despite identifying the right sector, my investor won't get the best outcome. On the contrary, if I buy a sectoral fund in which the stock has reasonably good presence and there are other stocks as well, the impact which I will create for the client can be much more predictable and much more harmonized. So, we are able to create returns which are more harmonious if our investment calls are correct, and that is something investors would love to have in their portfolios. And even as advisors, we believe that it is important that we normalize risk and harmonize returns, because investors want that experience. They don't want to be caught in the wrong stock, right? So, that is something that we would like to avoid in the way we curate a product, in the way we advise clients, and in the way in which we carry them along in their investment experience. So, that is something that we would want to constantly work on and understand these products very, very deeply, and then pick the products which suit every investor's need and then advise the investor on those products. So, it is basically something which gives us much more variety, reduces our cost, normalizes risk and harmonizes your returns. I think that nothing can be better than that from an investor standpoint, and therefore, there is no looking back as far as we are concerned. ETFs definitely are going to play a very important part in our future and in the future of our advisory. What are the ways in which you can buy an ETF? You can buy an ETF through a stock exchange during trading hours. That's the place to buy ETFs. Now, we don't really get enough supply because there are no market makers to supply all types of ETFs. We could have market makers in a Nifty ETF or a Sensex ETF or a NSE 500. But let us say I want to buy a private bank Bs or a public sector bank Bs or a tech ETF. Market making is still evolving, so we need to actually ensure that sellers are giving us that ETF at its NAV or very close to it. So, supply is something that is dependent on how effectively the market maker is providing us an opportunity to invest. So, we need to definitely work with the manufacturers to ensure that we get supply. So, ETF market is still not as liquid as we believe it is, because it is only in the headline indices that you have ample liquidity. In other things, we still need more liquidity, and I think that is going to be a challenge that we have to face as we go along. How long should an ETF be owned? An ETF should be owned for 1 year, at least if it has to qualify for the long-term capital gains as per the current tax regime. Within 1 year, it will be treated as short-term capital gain. For the purpose of taxation, it is treated like a stock. You definitely need a demat account if you want to buy an ETF on the stock exchange. That's the only way you can buy an ETF on the stock exchange. But for those who don't have a demat account as well, it is possible to buy ETFs provided those ETFs are available as feeder funds. Naturally, it will be sold as a fund of fund, which means that your costs will slightly increase. So, investors wanting to invest actively in ETF are better off having a demat account and doing it through that. If you cannot have a demat account, then it is good to buy feeder funds, but the cost will be slightly higher. An important question which needs to be raised and answered is, what happens to the dividends paid by companies which are a part of an ETF? The company pays a dividend and that dividend comes to the ETF. In India, dividends are reinvested within the ETF, whereas in the West, there is option to pay out the dividend to the unit holders. In India, we are still seeing dividend being paid out. I think that some regulatory direction will definitely come in this area and provide us more options with respect to dividends. ETFs are definitely low cost products when compared to mutual funds, but they take away an investment manager's ability to shift weights, to think differently within an index and to create beta. over the index. So, an ETF generally will provide returns very closely to the underlying index. So, you may have a marginal tracking error, but returns will be more or less in line with the index. And dividend gets added to the corpus. So, dividend also gets reflected in that returns. So, that is something that you need to know in the Indian context. Domestic ETFs will be taxed like domestic shares. Global ETFs will be taxed like any other income. So, it will be added to your slab and taxed at the rate at which your slab works. So, if you make a lot of money in global ETFs, you may pay very high personal income tax. So, that is something you need to be conscious of, especially if you are a taxpayer in the higher tax bracket. The beauty about ETFs today is that it allows you to just do simple things like the index investing in the Nifty or the Sensex or the NSE 500. It also helps you buy complex sectoral opportunities like semiconductors, like FANG, like indices which give you higher momentum, those which give you lower volatility. So, you are spoiled for choice, and that choice is only going to increase. So, ETFs will be increasingly preferred by more number of investors, especially those who don't want scrip risk but who want to participate in equity as an asset class. Advisors like us will also prefer it because when we want to participate in a theme, we get a more cost effective way to participate in the theme, and we eliminate fund managers' role in that, because sometimes fund managers in their intent to create more returns can take disproportionate risk and end up with outcomes which are not what we desire for our clients. So, if we want to avoid those hiccups and headaches, an ETF is probably a simpler, safer way to play themes. As thematic advisors, we really see a lot of future in ETF investing, and we would like our clients to scale up their investments in such a way that ETFs can also form a very important part of their investment portfolio. Thank you for watching this video. We would continue to provide you more insights on ETFs and give you more nuance on how ETFs specific to themes and indices look very, very attractive going forward. Thank you.